Dominance is not a force that exists in the world. It is a hallucination shared between minds. What society calls strength, confidence, or power is often nothing more than a reflection of belief, a performance that becomes real only because others agree to play their part in it. No man is inherently dominant. He is perceived as dominant because others subconsciously submit to his certainty. Power, therefore, is a mirror, and the reflection it casts depends not on the brute nature of the man himself, but on the quiet conviction with which he inhabits his role. The world bends not to aggression, but to composure. The loudest person in the room rarely holds authority. He merely begs for recognition. Real control belongs to the one who appears unmoved, the one whose silence carries more gravity than another's noise. Dominance, then, is psychological architecture. It is built from posture, tone, and timing. It is the invisible thread that holds the social order together, woven from the mutual illusion that someone must lead and someone must follow. Once you see this, once you realize that authority exists only as long as others believe in it, you stop chasing validation. You stop competing for approval. Instead, you anchor yourself in inner certainty. You discover that people respond not to your words, but to the calm energy behind them. True power requires no declaration. It whispers. It lives in restraint, in the pause between words, in the gaze that never flinches. Those who truly command never need to convince. Their very presence reorganizes the space around them. Others adjust without realizing it. In the end, power is not something one takes. It is something granted, and the world grants it to those who no longer need it. Power begins long before action, before a single word is spoken, before a hand is raised, before any visible sign of strength appears. The battle for dominance has already taken place within the invisible theater of perception. Human beings are emotional, creatures who justify their feelings with reason. We do not see others as they are. We see them through the lens of our insecurities, our hopes, our fears. The one who understands this does not fight for control. He creates belief. When two minds meet, one inevitably yields. This surrender is subtle. It happens not through force, but through certainty. The person who remains calm while the other seeks approval silently takes control. Confidence, after all, is contagious. It spreads like heat. The nervous system mirrors what it perceives as stable. Thus, the unshaken man becomes the emotional gravity to which others unconsciously align. Every interaction, no matter how trivial, is a negotiation of energy. Who will lead? Who will follow? Who will dictate the frame through which reality is perceived? Those who grasp this truth learn that dominance is never about superiority. It is about state transmission. Whoever maintains their internal state while others lose theirs leads. The body follows the mind, and the mind follows emotion. The one who can regulate his emotion, therefore, commands the unregulated hearts of others. Observe closely. The eyes that dart reveal submission. The voice that trembles seeks permission. The smile that arrives too quickly asks for safety. All of these are micro-confessions of hierarchy. Meanwhile, the composed remain still, not because they lack emotion, but because they own it. To master perception is to master the nervous systems of those around you. People surrender, not when they are defeated, but when they are seen by a gaze that refuses to flinch. That is the moment when power shifts, quietly, irrevocably, and no one can name why. True control, then, is not physical. It is psychophysiological. The body obeys the mind, but the mind obeys perception. Those who appear powerful manipulate neither. They simply understand the rhythm of both. The secret is not to project dominance. It is to become emotionally unshakable. The one who cannot be moved cannot be controlled. And in that stillness, the world begins to orbit you. There is a kind of authority that cannot be faked. The kind that needs no title, no volume, no introduction. It enters a room quietly, yet the room rearranges itself in response. That is silent authority. the invisible architecture of presence that organizes human behavior without demand or declaration. Most people think power is expressed through speech, through argument, through visible dominance. They mistake movement for control, but the essence of authority is the opposite. It is the ability to remain unmoved. When a person no longer seeks to convince, they begin to influence effortlessly. Presence is a form of energy. It is not what you do, it is what you withhold. It's the restraint between impulses, the stillness between gestures, the pause that others cannot interpret but instinctively respect. Silence becomes a language and stillness becomes a signal. I do not chase, I attract. To command without words, one must first become internally quiet. The chaotic mind projects chaos outward. The disciplined mind radiates gravity. And just as planets orbit a stable sun, people instinctively orbit emotional stability. It feels safe yet mysterious, magnetic yet untouchable. True presence does not seek validation. It generates it. It's the calm assurance that nothing external can add or subtract from who you are. From that place, your very existence communicates certainty. And certainty, not aggression, is the foundation of authority. Observe the masters of silent power, those whose eyes do not wander, whose posture speaks of self-possession, whose words are measured like currency. Their influence lies not in what they say, but in the emotional field they create. People feel seen by them, and in that moment, they surrender to the one who does not need to be seen at all. To command silently is to understand that communication is mostly non-verbal. Tone, breath, gaze and timing form the real vocabulary of dominance. The body becomes an instrument of truth, and others unconsciously tune themselves to it. This is why the most powerful individuals in history rarely appeared forceful. Their presence was the message. They were not many, they were enough. Power, when refined, no longer announces itself. It merely exists, and existence itself, calm, grounded, unbothered, becomes the highest form of command. Reality is not fixed. It bends quietly, invisibly, around the strongest mind in the room. Not the loudest, not the most intelligent, but the one most certain of what reality is. This certainty becomes a gravitational field. It draws others into its orbit until they no longer know whether they believe you or simply believe through you. This is the essence of framing. The silent art of defining the world before others get a chance to question it. Every conversation, every relationship, every social exchange is a battle of frames, a negotiation of whose version of reality will dominate. Most people live inside other people's frames. They inherit beliefs, absorb emotions, and mistake compliance for peace. But those who understand power know that to lead minds, one must first define meaning. Whoever defines controls. Whoever reacts obeys. A powerful frame is not built from arrogance. It is built from coherence. When your thoughts, emotions, and words align, your reality becomes solid. People instinctively feel that solidity. It feels like truth, not because it is true, but because it is whole. The human nervous system recognizes consistency as safety, and safety as authority. This is why uncertainty weakens influence. The moment you doubt your own perspective, you invite others to rewrite it. The strong mind does not cling to being right. It simply refuses to be confused. Its clarity becomes contagious. The skilled manipulator, the philosopher, the mystic, all understand the same principle. The frame is stronger than the fact. People rarely submit to logic. They submit to the emotional tone of conviction. If your energy declares reality with enough coherence, logic becomes irrelevant. This is not deception, it is creation. All leadership, all influence, all transformation begins by reshaping what others believe is possible. Power does not exist in the external world. It exists in the consensus of perception. To master framing is to master the boundaries of collective imagination. You decide what matters, what offends, what inspires, what feels inevitable. The world follows, not because it must, but because it cannot resist the weight of your certainty. The great irony of power is that those who chase control lose it, while those who embody order create it. Frames do not demand belief, they invite it. And those who enter never realize that the invitation was their submission. Every human being is a signal. Some radiate confusion, others stability. Some pull chaos into every space they enter, while others seem to quiet storms simply by standing still. This invisible phenomenon, this capacity to stabilize the emotional climate of others, is what may rightly be called emotional gravity. Emotional gravity is not charisma. It's not charm, nor the performative glow of confidence. It is the deep, grounded energy of a mind that has learned not to leak itself into the noise of the world. When the surface of the self becomes still, others unconsciously reorganize around it. Chaos seeks order. Weak nervous systems seek stronger ones. Anxious people search for the calm that they have lost within themselves, and they find it, temporarily, in those who have mastered inner silence. That is why composure is power. The calm person does not merely appear in control, they are the control. Their presence becomes a regulating force, an emotional anchor in a sea of instability. When such a person speaks, words carry weight, not because of volume, but because they emerge from stillness. The world listens not to sound, but to centeredness. Emotional gravity cannot be faked, for it is the natural consequence of self-possession. You cannot hold others steady if you are still negotiating with your own storms. True calm is not the absence of emotion, but the mastery of it, the ability to let feeling move through you without letting it move you. Every leader, mystic or strategist who ever shaped history understood this truth, even if they never named it. They knew that control over others begins with regulation of the self. The one who does not flinch becomes the one others look to for direction. This is why the chaotic fear the calm, the unpredictable despise the serene. In the presence of peace, their noise becomes unbearable to themselves. And so the truly powerful do not conquer. They expose. Stillness is the ultimate dominance. Not the cold withdrawal of indifference, but the quiet confidence of alignment. A calm mind has nothing to prove, and that is precisely why it cannot be provoked. When you reach that state, power ceases to be a strategy. It becomes a frequency. You stop pushing, and the world begins to fall into rhythm with you. The strong man does not hold others. He holds himself. And because of that, everything else holds around him. Power does not change people, it reveals them. The moment true presence enters a space, masks begin to tremble, people's voices shift, their gestures betray uncertainty, and their words start to orbit around the unseen gravity of the one who stands composed. This is the law of reflection. In the presence of stability, everything unstable exposes itself. Human beings, by nature, are mirrors. They do not respond to reality, they respond to energy. When they encounter calm authority, their nervous systems are forced to reconcile with their own chaos. Some find comfort in it, others find terror. The reaction tells you everything about who they are. Observe how people behave around serenity. You will see their truest selves. The insecure become defensive, mistaking peace for judgment. The wise grow quieter, as if their soul recognizes something sacred. The prideful attempt to disturb the calm, testing its limits, trying to prove that their noise still matters, but nothing reveals a man's inner state faster than his behavior in the presence of one who cannot be shaken. The reflective nature of human interaction means that what others project onto you often has nothing to do with you. Their admiration and their resentment are both confessions, signals of their own relationship with power. To understand this is to transcend both praise and insult. Never chase how people see you. Let them show you who they are through the way they react to your stillness. Powerful people rarely need to analyze others. They simply create a field of truth. And in that field, every mask slips naturally. The one who has mastered inner silence becomes a mirror so clear that others cannot hide their distortions. You do not expose them. They expose themselves. That is the hidden advantage of calm dominance. It does not interrogate, it reveals. Through this lens, life itself becomes diagnostic. You begin to see that everyone is constantly revealing their level of consciousness, their wounds, their strength, through the way they respond to presence. The world is not testing you, it is showing you where it stands. And when you see it clearly, without judgment, you rise above the need to control, because the truth is this: the highest form of power is not domination, it is discernment. To see without reacting, to know without exposing, to witness without needing to correct, this is mastery. For in the end, power does not lie in changing others. It lies in remaining unchanged while they reveal themselves around you. Presence commands attention, but absence, true, deliberate absence, creates aura. When you step back from the noise of constant availability, you invite imagination to do the work of influence. The human mind cannot stand a vacuum. When you withdraw, others fill that space with thought, longing, and interpretation. Thus, distance becomes alchemical. It transforms your silence into significance. The weak overexpose themselves. They mistake visibility for value, thinking that the more they are seen, the more they will be remembered. But overexposure dulls mystery. Familiarity erodes reverence. Every moment of constant presence drains the electricity of perception until what was once magnetic becomes ordinary. Power requires contrast. It breathes through scarcity like a flame. It needs space to be seen. The wise understand this and learn the art of strategic withdrawal, not out of fear, but out of design. They retreat to increase meaning. They disappear to heighten desire. Distance does not break connection. It defines it. Absence is the architect of value. It sharpens attention, refines emotion, and reveals who truly sees your worth. The ones who chase during your silence are tied to your essence. The ones who forget were only bound to your noise. There is a certain majesty in being unreachable. Not arrogant detachment, but sovereign composure. The knowledge that access to your presence is a privilege, not a right. When you master the rhythm of engagement and retreat, you cease being just another participant in the world's noise. You become a myth within it. Even nature speaks this law. The sun rules by rising and setting. The moon governs through absence as much as through glow. The tide moves because the ocean knows when to withdraw. Distance, then, is not the opposite of power. It is its amplifier. Every step back allows perception to stretch forward. Every silence deepens the echo of your previous words. The one who can vanish without explanation and still be felt has crossed the threshold between presence and legend. And yet, withdrawal is dangerous for the unanchored. If you step away without depth, the world forgets you. But if you retreat with mastery, grounded in inner stillness, your absence becomes presence multiplied. Remember, power thrives in polarity. Be close enough to influence, but distant enough to be desired. Let them wonder where you went and why their world feels smaller without you. Because when used with awareness, distance is not disappearance, it is command in disguise. Certainty attracts the mind, but mystery binds the soul. In a world obsessed with exposure, explanation, and constant expression, the rarest form of power is restraint, the ability to remain partially veiled, to reveal just enough to provoke thought, but never enough to satisfy it. Mystery is not deception. It is depth withheld. It is the refusal to allow others full access to your inner architecture. What they cannot define, they cannot control. The moment you become entirely knowable, you become predictable, and predictability is the death of power. The disciplined mind understands that humans are addicted to curiosity. They seek resolution, closure, understanding, and when they cannot find it, They orbit endlessly around the unknown, feeding it energy and attention. The one who embodies mystery, therefore, becomes a gravitational force, not through noise, but through silence. To remain mysterious is to protect your spiritual core. It is to refuse the cheap currency of validation in exchange for the rare gem of intrigue. You give fragments of yourself, a gesture, a thought, a presence, and then you retreat, allowing others to complete the puzzle with their imagination. They will project brilliance, wisdom, beauty, even divinity, because the mind romanticizes what it cannot fully touch. Power without mystery decays into familiarity. Mystery without discipline collapses into confusion. But when the two are balanced, when clarity meets enigma, you enter the highest realm of influence. Mythic presence. Those who command lasting respect are rarely those who speak most. They are the ones who leave spaces between words, gaps large enough for others to fill with wonder. The world remembers not what you said, but what it felt when you didn't say anything at all. Mystery requires control over impulse. The undisciplined reveal themselves too soon, out of insecurity, out of hunger to be understood. The disciplined hold their truth lightly, knowing that mystery magnifies meaning. The ultimate proof of mastery is not how much you can express, but how much you can withhold without losing connection. To reveal nothing yet communicate everything, that is the summit of power. Understand this. The mystic and the strategist meet at the same peak. Both know that revelation is timing, not truth. Both understand that mystery is not a wall, but a mirror, reflecting others back to themselves, deepened by what they cannot grasp. Leave the world guessing. Let your silence be interpreted 1,000 ways. Never let them feel they have reached the end of you. For when the mind cannot conclude, the heart cannot let go. There comes a point on the path of power when control no longer satisfies, when the thrill of influence fades and manipulation begins to taste like dust. Beyond the games of dominance and perception lies a higher form of command, not over others, but over oneself. This is the birth of the sovereign mind. The sovereign mind is no longer trapped in reaction. It does not rise or fall with approval, fear, or desire. It moves from an internal compass, guided by principle, not pressure. Its calm is not performance. It is possession. The world can change, betray, adore, or abandon, yet it remains centered, because it has detached its identity from the shifting weather of circumstance. Most people seek control because they are terrified of uncertainty. They dominate to feel safe. They manipulate to avoid rejection. But the sovereign mind has made peace with chaos. It no longer needs to manage outcomes because it has mastered response. True power, at its highest expression, is freedom from control. When you no longer need to influence, your influence expands. When you no longer need to prove, your presence becomes unquestionable. The sovereign mind leads not through strategy, but through alignment. It lives in such harmony with truth that others sense stability merely by being near it. This form of power is incorruptible because it no longer feeds on validation. It is fueled by integrity, by the quiet, knowing that nothing external can complete what is already whole within. Such a person cannot be bribed with praise, threatened with loss, or seduced by illusion. They walk through the world like a clear sky, vast, patient, unaffected. The sovereign mind does not isolate, it liberates. It sees every conflict as information, every loss as purification. Where others react, it reflects. Where others chase, it observes. It understands that no enemy is stronger than one's own unmastered emotion, and therefore, it practices the most radical act of power imaginable: non-resistance. To live in sovereignty is to move through the world like water, adapting without losing shape, bending without breaking, influencing without needing to claim. People mistake this for detachment, but it is deeper than that. It is transcendence. It's the realization that control over others was never the goal. The goal was to become ungovernable from within. And so, the sovereign no longer plays the game of power. He writes the rules by not needing them. His silence speaks louder than commands. His stillness carries more weight than ambition. In that space, the war between dominance and submission ends. What remains is pure clarity, freedom expressed as composure. All quests end in stillness. Every empire of ambition, every fortress of intellect, every weapon of will, eventually collapses into quiet awareness. The mind that once sought to dominate finally discovers there was never anything to conquer. What we called power was only the echo of separation. Like the restless attempt to complete what was never broken, the key. True master no longer seeks control because he sees the illusion behind it. He understands that all domination, even self-mastery, is still a form of resistance. It is the ego's last defense against the infinite. But once resistance ends, what remains is something far greater than control. Presence. Presence does not command. It radiates. It needs no followers, no recognition, no display. It bends reality not through force, but through harmony. Where control divides, presence unites. It makes no distinction between victory and loss, between ruler and ruled, because it sees both as movements within the same ocean. This is the final paradox of power. That which tries to hold it will always lose it. That which lets it flow becomes it. Presence is not an act. It is the absence of effort. It is the state beyond striving, a consciousness so vast it holds both strength and surrender without conflict. To live in this awareness is to stand at the still center of all motion, watching the tides of life rise and fall, yet never being moved by them. The sovereign dissolves here, not in defeat, but in completion. The self that once wanted to rule finally recognizes its own insignificance, and in that recognition becomes limitless. For power was never about command. It was about coherence. When your inner and outer worlds no longer fight, reality aligns without resistance. What the world perceives as charisma, the awakened see as clarity. What the masses chase as dominance, the wise live as devotion. Devotion to truth, to balance, to presence itself. In the end, the most powerful being is not the one who speaks the loudest, but the one who has nothing left to prove. Their silence unsettles tyrants and comforts the pure-hearted. Their mere existence becomes a mirror, reflecting to each observer the truth they have avoided. Seeing within themselves, the journey began with illusion, the hunger to rule. It ends with revelation. The peace of being, power, was never out there. It was the quiet pulse within, waiting to be remembered. And once remembered, it no longer needs to be used, because you have become the field from which all power flows. And so, when all masks fall, when every strategy, every desire, every illusion of control finally dissolves, what remains is the one thing that never needed to be earned: presence. The true king wears no crown, commands no army, and fears no loss. He rules a kingdom that cannot be seen, the kingdom within. His power is invisible, yet it bends the world around him, not through force, but through alignment, not through dominance, but through depth. For in the silence of a mind at peace, the universe listens. In the steadiness of a heart unafraid, creation rearranges itself. And in the gaze of one who has mastered himself, destiny finds its direction. This is the final truth. Power was never about control. It was about clarity, not about bending others, but about standing so still that reality bends to your calm. When you reach this state, you do not command the world, you become the rhythm it moves by. And in that moment, the game ends, the war ends, the need ends, only stillness remains, and from that stillness all power flows.